Remember words by reading essays. Chasing the truth.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to study the article Chasing the Truth. First, please listen carefully as we play the full passage once so that you can get a general understanding of the story and its main ideas.
Mia had always dreamed of being a top investigative journalist, but this month proved especially grueling. She had to juggle covering the national election, preparing a feature story on corruption, and attending late-night press briefings. Every day felt like an uphill battle, and the sheer volume of emails and documents made the work feel like an arduous slog. Uncovering evidence of financial misconduct seemed almost Sisyphean, as officials skillfully hid their tracks. Yet Mia remained adamant in her pursuit of the truth, refusing to be intimidated by powerful figures. At press conferences, politicians often answer questions with terse statements, while some journalists posed vitriolic queries that tested Mia's patience. She knew the vitriol online could be just as harsh, but she learned to process criticism without losing focus. When tensions ran high among citizens, Mia wrote articles succinctly, aiming to allay public fears and clarify misunderstandings. She also highlighted stories of communities receiving palliative support during political unrest, showing that not all news was bleak. Mia's determination was gritty, her mindset flinty, and her reporting style tenacious. She faced scathing backlash from some campaign staff, but their scathing attacks only strengthened her resolve. Her funding began to dwindle, and some editors tried to curtail her investigative scope, but she refused to let obstacles derail her work. Some competitors tried to stomp on her reputation or ride roughshod over her findings, yet Mia pressed on. By the end of the week, she had achieved results that someone could scarcely believe, uncovering a bribery scandal that shook the election. Her editor praised her ability to gin up public awareness, proving that courage and persistence could make a difference. Mia's story was a testament to the difficulty of balancing speed, accuracy, and ethics in journalism. It showed that those willing to juggle competing demands with gritty, tenacious, and flinty determination could change the world one article at a time.
Now, we will listen to the passage a second time. While listening, I will pause at key moments to explain important vocabulary items and useful phrases that appear in the text, helping you understand how they are used in context.
Mia had always dreamed of being a top investigative journalist, but this month proved especially grueling. She had to juggle covering the national election, preparing a feature story on corruption, and attending late-night press briefings.
In the passage, the word juggle means to handle several tasks at the same time, often with difficulty. Mia had to juggle election coverage, investigative research, and press briefings, showing she managed many responsibilities simultaneously.
Does juggle always involve many tasks?
Yes, it usually suggests balancing multiple duties at once.
Is it formal?
It's neutral and common in both spoken and written English when describing multitasking.
Every day felt like an uphill battle.
In the text, uphill appears in the phrase an uphill battle. Here, uphill is used metaphorically to describe something very difficult that requires extra effort, just like walking uphill takes more energy than walking on flat ground. It emphasizes that Mia's work was challenging and demanding.
Does uphill always refer to something difficult?
When used figuratively, yes. It usually means a task is hard or requires persistent effort.
Can we use it in daily conversation?
Absolutely. For example, you can say, learning a new language at first feels like an uphill struggle.
And the sheer volume of emails and documents made the work feel like an arduous slog.
In the passage, an arduous slog describes work that is extremely tiring, slow, and difficult. Arduous means requiring great effort. and slog suggests moving forward with heavy, exhausting labor. Together, the phrase emphasizes that Mia's tasks were not only challenging but also long and exhausting.
Is slog always negative?
Usually, yes. It often describes work that feels tiring or tedious.
Can we use it for studying?
Certainly. You might say,
Preparing for the final exams was an arduous slog.
Uncovering evidence of financial misconduct seemed almost Sisyphean, as officials skillfully hid their tracks.
In the text, Sisyphean describes a task that seems endless and impossible to finish. The word comes from the Greek myth of Sisyphus, who was forced to push a rock up a hill forever, only for it to roll down each time. So, a Sisyphean task is one that feels frustratingly repetitive and without a clear end.
Does it always mean completely hopeless?
Not always hopeless, but it suggests the work feels endless and extremely difficult.
Can we use it in academic writing?
Yes. It is a formal word and often used in essays to describe overwhelming or never-ending efforts.
Yet Mia remained adamant in her pursuit of the truth, refusing to be intimidated by powerful figures.
In the passage, adamant means firmly determined and unwilling to change one's opinion or decision. When the text says Mia remained adamant in her pursuit of the truth, it shows she was strongly committed and refused to give up despite pressure or obstacles.
Is adamant always positive?
Not necessarily. It can be positive when showing determination, but negative if someone is stubborn without reason.
Can we say adamant about?
Yes. For example, she is adamant about finishing her research on time.
At press conferences, politicians often answer questions with terse statements.
In the text, terse describes speech that is very brief and sometimes a little unfriendly. When politicians gave terse statements, it means they answer questions with very short replies, often without giving much detail. The word suggests both brevity and a slightly cold tone.
Is terse the same as concise?
Not exactly. Concise is positive, meaning short but clear, while terse can sound abrupt or unfriendly.
Can we use it for emails?
Yes. You might say, his reply was terse, giving only one short sentence.
While some journalists posed vitriolic queries that tested Mia's patience.
In the passage, vitriolic describes language that is extremely harsh, bitter, and full of anger. When some journalists asked vitriolic queries, it means their questions were not neutral but sharp and hostile, often intended to criticize strongly.
Is vitriolic only used for speech?
Mostly. Yes. It commonly describes comments, remarks, criticism, or writing that is very harsh.
Is it a formal word?
Yes. It is fairly formal and often used in news reports or academic writing to describe severe criticism.
She knew the vitriol online could be just as harsh, but she learned to process criticism without losing focus.
In the passage, vitriol refers to very harsh and bitter criticism, especially in speech or online comments. When the text mentions vitriol online, it means strong, angry attacks expressed through words rather than physical actions.
Is vitriol related to vitriolic?
Yes. Vitriol is the noun, while vitriolic is the adjective describing that harsh tone.
Can we use it in everyday conversation?
It is more formal, but you can still say, the actor faced a lot of vitriol on social media.
When tensions ran high among citizens, Mia wrote articles succinctly.
In the text, succinctly means expressing something clearly and in very few words. When Mia wrote articles succinctly, it shows she presented important information in a brief, yet clear way, avoiding unnecessary details while still helping readers understand the key points.
Is succinctly similar to briefly?
Yes, but succinctly emphasizes both brevity and clarity, not just shortness.
Can we use it in academic writing? Certainly.
For example, please summarize the results succinctly in one paragraph.
Aiming to allay public fears and clarify misunderstandings.
In the passage, allay means to make a feeling such as fear, worry, or suspicion less intense. When Mia wrote articles to allay public fears, she tried to calm people and reduce their anxiety by providing clear and reliable information.
Can allay be used with anger?
Yes, you can say allay anger, allay concerns, or allay doubts.
Is it formal?
It is somewhat formal and commonly used in news writing, academic texts, and formal speeches.
She also highlighted stories of communities receiving palliative support during political unrest.
In the passage, palliative describes actions or support that help relieve pain,
Suffering.
or serious difficulties, even if they do not completely solve the problem. When the text mentions palliative support, it refers to assistance that eases people's hardship during political unrest.
Is palliative only used in medicine?
It is common in medical contexts, but it can also describe any measure that reduces suffering or discomfort.
Can it be used metaphorically?
Yes. For example, the government introduced palliative measures to reduce economic pressure.
Showing that not all news was bleak, Mia's determination was gritty.
In the passage, gritty describes someone who shows strong courage,
Determination.
and toughness, especially when facing difficulties. When Mia's determination is called gritty, it means she keeps working hard and refuses to give up despite pressure or challenges.
Does gritty always refer to personality?
Not always. It can also describe something rough or realistic, such as a gritty movie. But here it refers to strong determination.
Is it positive?
Yes. In this context, it has a positive meaning, highlighting persistence and resilience.
Her mindset flinty.
In the passage, Flinty describes a personality that is hard, firm, and emotionally tough. When Mia's mindset is called flinty, it means she shows strong inner toughness and does not easily soften under pressure or criticism. The word comes from flint, a very hard type of stone.
Is flinty always negative?
Not always. It can be negative if someone seems cold, but positive when it shows strong resilience.
Can we use it to describe leadership?
Yes. For example, she showed a flinty determination during the crisis.
And her reporting style tenacious.
In the passage, tenacious means very persistent and unwilling to give up, even when facing difficulties. When Mia's reporting style is described as tenacious, it shows that she keeps investigating, asking questions, and pursuing the truth despite obstacles or resistance.
Is tenacious similar to stubborn?
They are related, but tenacious usually has a positive meaning, emphasizing persistence rather than unreasonable refusal to change.
Can we use it for goals?
Yes. For example, he is tenacious in achieving his long-term goals.
She faced scathing backlash from some campaign staff, but their scathing attacks only strengthened her resolve.
In the text, scathing describes criticism that is extremely harsh and strongly disapproving. When Mia faced scathing backlash, it means the attacks against her were very severe, often expressed with sharp and hurtful language.
Is scathing only used for criticism?
Mostly. Yes. It commonly describes reviews, remarks, or comments that are intensely negative.
Is it formal?
Yes. It is a fairly formal word often used in journalism and academic writing.
Her funding began to dwindle.
In the passage, dwindle means to gradually become smaller in amount,
Size.
or strength over time. When Mia's funding began to dwindle, it indicates that the financial support slowly decreased rather than disappearing suddenly.
Can dwindle be used for time?
Yes. For example, you can say, our free time dwindled as the deadline approached.
Is it usually used for negative situations?
Often. Yes. Because it commonly describes resources, energy, or opportunities becoming less.
And some editors try to curtail her investigative scope.
In the passage, curtail means to reduce or limit something, often intentionally. When editors tried to curtail Mia's investigative scope, it means they wanted to restrict how much she could investigate or how far her reporting could go.
Is curtail similar to cut?
Yes. But curtail is more formal and usually means reducing something rather than stopping it completely.
Can we use it for spending?
Certainly.
For example, the company curtailed its travel expenses last year.
But she refused to let obstacles derail her work. Some competitors tried to stomp on her reputation.
In the passage, stomp on is used figuratively to mean damaging or crushing someone's reputation, efforts, or rights in a harsh way. When competitors tried to stomp on Mia's reputation, it means they attempted to harm her professional image aggressively.
Does it always mean physical stepping?
Literally, it does. But figuratively, it often means attacking or suppressing something strongly.
Can we use it in business contexts?
Yes. For example, large companies sometimes stomp on smaller competitors.
Or ride roughshod over findings, yet Mia pressed on.
In the passage, ride roughshod over means to ignore other people's rights, opinions, or feelings and act in a forceful, unfair way. When competitors tried to ride roughshod over Mia's findings, it suggests they attempted to dismiss or override her work without respect or fairness.
Is this expression formal or informal?
It is somewhat formal and often used in journalism or serious discussion.
Can it be used in politics?
Yes. For example, the leader was criticized for riding roughshod over public opinion.
By the end of the week, she had achieved results that someone could scarcely believe, uncovering a bribery scandal that shook the election.
In the passage, someone could scarcely believe means it is very hard for a person to believe or accept something because it is surprising or extraordinary. When it says Mia uncovered a bribery scandal someone could scarcely believe. It emphasizes how shocking and unexpected her findings were.
Is scarcely the same as hardly.
Yes. Scarcely and hardly both mean almost not or barely. But scarcely sounds slightly more formal.
Can we use this expression in everyday conversation?
Yes. For example, I could scarcely believe my eyes when I saw the rainbow after the storm.
Her editor praised her ability to gin up public awareness, proving that courage and persistence could make a difference.
In the passage, gin up means to create, stir up, or generate interest, excitement, or awareness, often quickly or energetically. When it says Mia was able to gin up public awareness, it means she successfully drew attention to the scandal and got people engaged.
Is gin up formal or informal?
It is informal and often used in journalism or casual speech rather than academic writing.
Can it be used for emotions too?
Yes. For example, the coach tried to gin up the team's enthusiasm before the big game.
Mia's story was a testament to the difficulty of balancing speed, accuracy, and ethics in journalism. It showed that those willing to juggle competing demands with gritty, tenacious, and flinty determination could change the world one article at a time.
Next, we will listen to the entire passage one more time without interruption. This final listening will help you reinforce your understanding and notice how the vocabulary and expressions function naturally within the complete text.
Mia had always dreamed of being a top investigative journalist, but this month proved especially grueling. She had to juggle covering the national election, preparing a feature story on corruption, and attending late-night press briefings. Every day felt like an uphill battle, and the sheer volume of emails and documents made the work feel like an arduous slog. Uncovering evidence of financial misconduct seemed almost Sisyphean, as officials skillfully hid their tracks. Yet Mia remained adamant in her pursuit of the truth, refusing to be intimidated by powerful figures. At press conferences, politicians often answer questions with terse statements, while some journalists posed vitriolic queries that tested Mia's patience. She knew the vitriol online could be just as harsh, but she learned to process criticism without losing focus. When tensions ran high among citizens, Mia wrote articles succinctly, aiming to allay public fears and clarify misunderstandings. She also highlighted stories of communities receiving palliative support during political unrest, showing that not all news was bleak. Mia's determination was gritty, her mindset flinty, and her reporting style tenacious. She faced scathing backlash from some campaign staff, but their scathing attacks only strengthened her resolve. Her funding began to dwindle, and some editors tried to curtail her investigative scope, but she refused to let obstacles derail her work. Some competitors tried to stomp on her reputation or ride roughshod over her findings, yet Mia pressed on. By the end of the week, she had achieved results that someone could scarcely believe, uncovering a bribery scandal that shook the election. Her editor praised her ability to gin up public awareness, proving that courage and persistence could make a difference. Mia's story was a testament to the difficulty of balancing speed, accuracy, and ethics in journalism. It showed that those willing to juggle competing demands with gritty, tenacious, and flinty determination could change the world one article at a time.
That brings us to the end of today's lesson. Thank you for your attention and participation. And I hope today's session has helped you better understand the article and its key expressions.